Madison, Hannah, we all went to high school together. Shaylin works with Sienna, so we all met her through Sienna. I met Sergio, I don't know really how, maybe on the internet, like 4 years ago, and him and Joe are really good buddies, and him and Sienna are kind of a item. Jacob goes to church at the same church as Shaylin, so that's how we know him. And him and Sienna are cousins. I'm Brittany Pond. I am 19 years old. I'm a practicing Christian.
My name's Sienna Messler. I'm 20 years old and I'm also a practicing Christian. I was raised, I always went to church when I was little. My grandparents owned a church campground that I went to the last 4 years. But when I got older, I don't know, the things that I did, my Christian friends didn't agree on, so I don't go as much as I should.
I grew up in a pretty strict home. My grandparents own a small church called North Grove. It's probably less than 20 people that attend, but I grew up really strict. My parents always had a lot of rules. We were always at church every Sunday, Bible study. When I was 16, I met this guy and we were together a while, and I kind of started rebelling and not going to church and stuff, and I would sneak out because my parents were strict. I would do things that weren't very Christian-like, and pretty much just got pregnant at a young age. This is where I am now, kind of struggling a little bit with my faith, but still trying to keep a connection with God.
I was 17 and still in high school when I got pregnant by a guy who doesn't have anything, and he already has another kid, and now he is currently in prison.
Pretty much we're both in the same boat. Like, we don't really know, like, we know he's real because we want to raise our kids up and to know God.
And we talk about it, and we do read the Bible, but as far as attending church,
we don't really go.
We don't really go, but I mean, we want to, but then at the same time, we still want to party on the weekends and not feel guilty about it.
My name is Jacob Cottrell, and I'm a 23-year-old non-denominational Christian.
My name's Shaylin Bobo. I am 20 years old, and I'm a non-denominational Christian.
My parents raised me in Christianity, so there's the phrase kind of like you grew up on the pew, like I was born on the pew, like every Sunday I was at church. But in high school I really kind of backed away from that. I didn't want anything to do with it because I knew a lot of people that were kind of fake, what we called. So I kind of ran from it, and currently I've started going back again and getting really in tune with God and really in tune with, my Savior and what He had to do in my life.
I didn't grow up in a religious home. Like, they believed in God and they went to church, but it was more of a have-to thing and not really a relationship with God. And I met a friend in high school my freshman year who invited me to church, and I started going, and God just really started pursuing me and pursuing His heart, and that's where I found God. And my senior year, one of my people from the church really hurt me, and so I backslid and got into drugs and drank and lost my virginity. And then recently I just came back to God and really started rebuilding my faith again. My mom and I really got fought a lot because when I was doing bad, I skipped school every day, and I just really had to get out. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to go. So I moved into this discipleship house, and I moved in with my youth pastor to really get my head back on and start finding God.
With me, it's really difficult because over the past probably about 4 years, I've gone through 11 life or death surgeries. So it really leans into the reason why I'm so serious about my religion and my relationship with God. Back in probably 2008, I got a prophecy from a gentleman from out of state who came into our church for a youth camp and just basically prophesied over my life and said that, God had great plans for my life, and I was going to touch thousands of people, and I was going to, change their lives for good. But he also said that Satan was going to try and kill me. So a year to that day that I got that prophecy, I got really bad aneurysm in my stomach where I lost all usage on the left side of my body where I had a stroke. And then on top of that, I've had my lungs completely collapsed. I've had aneurysms in my brainstem. But God's been faithful, and obviously I'm still here for a reason. So I want to use that opportunity like he's given me to be able to reach people.
My relationship with the rest of the crew started when I backslid and left the church. And I had talked about God like when I was in church, and then when I fell away, I kind of fell back into their world. With dealing with temptation, it's definitely hard because I honestly sometimes have the urge to go drink and go get high and like maybe have sex with somebody. Like it's honestly hard, but then I look from where God has brought me from to where I am now, and I don't think it's worth risking my relationship with God. And I see where the other people's lives have ended up that do that kind of thing, and that's what brings me back to God.
My name is Joseph Romeo Lasik. Everybody calls me Joe. I'm 22 years old, and I'm a Christian.
And I'm Sergio Flores. I'm 22 years old. I have different beliefs, but I'm Christian-based.
Yeah, I was raised in church. I was baptized at a young age. I grew up in a non-denominational church called Calvary Worship Center.
My dad was a Catholic, so I grew up like him telling me Catholic beliefs. My mom really never went to church when she was little, maybe a couple times on Easter Sunday or whatever. But my brother's actually a Catholic into the church, so I have like mixed views. For everything that I've been through in life, I struggle a lot even to believe. I believe I'm going to suffer for my sins, obviously, but I believe what I'm doing is right. So I'm not going to go to hell. I'm not going to perish in hell, kind of like John 3:16. But I also don't feel like I have to go to church every weekend to be accepted by God.
Church is not, to me, just being in a building that has crosses everywhere and pretty glass. Church, it can be any group of Christians gathered together talking in God's name. I do a lot of reading and studying and praying, so I think that's the most important thing.
I am two different people sometimes. I can be. I'm a good dad, and I do everything I'm supposed to do. But when I don't have my son and the mom has him, I'm out partying with my friends, and that's what I do. I have a kid. Well, I met Kayla, his mom, 3-4 years back. After that, it kind of jumped off. We ended up having an accident, Frankie, but he's also a blessing, obviously. And right after, she lived with me in Fort Wayne. And right when Frankie was born, maybe a couple weeks later, she left me and moved in with her dad. So I had the place in Fort Wayne all to myself for the year.
Me and Serge go out pretty much every weekend he can. I'm with him.
I think Brittany's the most outgoing. She's like always voiced her opinion. And before she had her kid, she was really, really, really wild and pretty crazy. Because we used to talk before she had her kid. Sienna can be too, like when they're together.
I mean, me and Sam have been out to dinner and stuff. We've known each other for a long time, but I wouldn't know if it would be called like a serious relationship yet.
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm 20, and I'm practicing Christianity.
And I'm Hannah. I'm 20, and I don't really have a religion right now.
I grew up with just my mom. I'm an only child. My dad was never a part of my life, so I wasn't really taught anything about religion. My mom didn't go to church. My grandparents, when I was younger, didn't go to church. The only church experience that I had when I was younger was the couple times that I did go with Brittany and Sienna. I mean, I believe in God, but I just don't know. I don't have a very good background. I don't know a lot about it.
I grew up, like, my whole family was Christians, and they always tried to get us to go to church and, like, understand what's going on, but I kind of turned into a little crazy kid, I don't know, and had to go to a rehab. It was called Teen Challenge. It's like a Christian boarding school, but a rehab place, and I was there for 13 months, and I just kind of, like, understood the religion and understood, like, what you had to do to be a Christian and the rights and wrongs and everything. But now that I've been out of school and for, like, 2 years and working and just researching things on my own and like watching shows on my own and trying to figure it out on my own without any parental influence or, you know, stuff like that, I've just kind of changed my belief a little bit because I'm still trying to figure it out too. But like we've had conversations before.
Yeah, I'll go over to Sienna sometimes, and Brittany will be there too, and sometimes we'll be just hanging out. It'll just be all of us girls and both of their babies, and we'll just be sitting down watching TV, like the Bible that's on TV, or just any of the shows that bring it up, and we'll sit after those and just sit around and just talk about what we feel and what we think's going on and what we believe.